Hi everybody, I'm VanDusen, and in this video I'm going to tell you 7 mantras for designers and entrepreneurs to live by. So everybody has certain mantras, certain ideas, certain philosophies that they live by. I have 7 that I'd like to share with you today that I think are great for designers and entrepreneurs. Number 1, be human. No one wants a brand bot. No one wants to work with a robot. Strategy is great, rules are great, but we're people and people react in different ways to different things. We're unpredictable. So yes, you are a business person, but you have to be human. You have to maintain that humanity. You have to be personable because people like to work with people that they like. So no one likes a prima donna. So try to be likable, try to be human. Number 2, have fun. We got into this because we didn't want to have a crappy humdrum life. We became designers and entrepreneurs because we wanted excitement, we wanted to have fun, we wanted to do things that were interesting. Design and entrepreneurship is really hard, and you have to work really hard at it to be successful. But remember why you're doing it. You're doing it to have fun, so try not to take yourself too seriously. Number 3, what's the worst thing that can happen? Sometimes we get fearful about trying something new or putting ourselves out there, and that can be really debilitating. So thinking through that fear to the very end, like what is the worst thing that can happen if things went wrong, sometimes takes the power out of that fear to really think it all the way through. So do what you think is right. And if something goes wrong, ask for forgiveness later. I mean, really, what is the worst thing that can happen? Are you going to get fired? Are you going to lose your apartment? Are you going to lose your girlfriend? I mean, really, how bad could it possibly get? Most of the time, those things are never really going to happen. So it frees you up to be more courageous and to try new things. Number 4, use your resources. As designers and entrepreneurs, a lot of times we like to do everything ourselves, but ultimately if we need to do bigger and better things, we need to have additional resources. So think about gathering service providers and companies and printers and coders and animators, whatever it is that you don't do, gather those resources and keep those connections warm so they're there when you need them. So that way you're going to be ready for the unexpected. Number 5 is first things first. Procrastination is a killer for designers and entrepreneurs. And it's really hard to prioritize things sometimes, but learning how to prioritize things well is one of the best skills you can learn to be successful in your career. Tim Ferriss in a 4-Hour Work Week has a method where he says, you think about the 3 top things that you need to do, and if you just did a little bit on those 3 things in the day, would you feel like the day was successful? That's how he determined what the 3 top priorities were. So capture what those things are. And then I have noticed that when I'm prioritizing things, I have a tendency to do the easiest things first. And I found out over time that that's really not the best way to approach it. I do the hardest things first. And what I do is I go through that list and I think about what are the things that I most don't want to do. And those are usually the ones that are the highest priority. And I move those to the top of the list and I do those first. Number 6 is done, not perfect. Designers and entrepreneurs are really perfectionists in general, but it's really good to think about just getting things out the door. Volume trumps perfection any day of the week. Consistency beats infrequency. So more is better, and frequency boosts recognition for your brand. So instead of being a perfectionist and trying to noodle it to that absolute level of, fine detail, get it out the door, move on to the next thing. Chances are that level of perfection, no one is ever really going to notice. And it's better if you just get it out the door and move on to the next thing. So done, not perfect. Number 7, when in doubt, communicate. The biggest complaint I've heard in my career from designers and people I've worked with is, I don't know what's going on. No one's telling me anything. And it's really hard to do your job well if you feel underinformed. So I've always had a mantra in my career, when in doubt, always communicate, especially with clients. Because when you're working with a client, you have to make sure that they know what's going on in your head and you know what's going on in theirs, and that you're making sure that you're aligned all the time. So over-communicate, especially when the news that you're trying to communicate is bad. And then recap things constantly. If you have a phone conversation, if you have some sort of back and forth in a meeting, recap it in writing and make sure that you're over-communicating. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video on 7 mantras for designers and entrepreneurs to live by. And if you did, hit subscribe below so you can see my videos when they come out. And visit me at philipvandusen.com/muse and subscribe to my newsletter. It comes out every 2 weeks and I share an insight and resources and inspiration for graphic design and entrepreneurship. And with that, thanks again for watching. Bye for now.